on this episode of AHA, Creating Harmony.
Our CHIME program is El Sistema-inspired program, which is music education for social change.
An acclaimed ballerina lights up the stage.
You know, dance is powerful. It can be healing. It can just say the right thing at the right time when you need it.
An artist brings art into everyday life.
My mom told me somebody got paid for doing that.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at a comic strip dynasty.
Drawing was natural for me. It was something I thought everybody did.
It's all ahead on this episode of AHA. Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Opalka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Malsardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That is why we take an active role in our community. M&T is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.
Hugh Johnson Advisors proudly supports the arts in our region. The Hugh Johnson Advisors team has been providing investment counsel and fiduciary advice to nonprofits and endowments for over 20 years. More information at hjadvisors.com.
Hi, I'm Katie G, and this is AHA, a house for arts, a place for all things creative. Promoting positive social change through ensemble-based music training, the Empire State Youth Orchestra recently launched CHIME, an after-school music program.
Our CHIME program is El Sistema-inspired program, which is music education for social change. Social change happens individually, and then as a family, and then as a community, and then as a society.
The idea behind that is that when you realize talent in a child, it does something to them. It makes them more competent. It raises their self-esteem. It presents the opportunity, it presents possibility for more. That is the thing that's going to create social change.
We did a lot of planning beginning in 2013 and decided very intentionally that we wanted to establish a program like this in the heart of a community, in the public system, public school system, so that kids would not have to go from their community to a school to learn music, but rather that music would become part of what they do in the community itself. We created a name for the program. The acronym is CHIME, and it stands for Creating Harmony, Invigorating Music Education. Very intentionally named in the sense that what we really wanted to do was to reinvigorate music education during the school day, but also to invigorate it in the imagination of the community and of society.
I'm a second violin in the Empire State Youth Orchestra, so I work with CHIME, and I specifically teach the kids how to play the violin and how to read music. So it's actually like a lot of fun. The kids are like really, really adorable, and it's like really inspiring to see how much you can change their life just by like playing a few notes that like they don't know how to do, and they like aspire to be like you, and it's really cool. There we go. Okay, so let's make sure we know how to play this. So what do you do once you've played all the way down to here twice?
Repeat twice. No. You go back to do it again, and then you go down there.
There's a huge excitement around this program. However, that's really that initial excitement. It's a daunting task. It's a lot of hard work.
When a child enters into a program as intense as this with a specific musical goal, the aim is to raise that self-esteem and self-confidence and self-belief. It is the self-belief, self-confidence that is going to then impact their outside lives outside of music. A lot of the problems that certainly the children that I've dealt with is confidence. They don't believe they can do it, so they disengage. The main goal, the main tool that we are using is confidence, changing that around. Once you change the self-belief, the self-confidence, then they can go off into their other subjects and apply that.
Knowing that what I do alone is important, but what we can do together is so much better. And that's one of most exciting ways to learn who you are, by reflecting yourself in a safe environment onto other folks. So I think musical training or music education is at its best when we do it in a community setting. I certainly hope that by starting first grade really young and prepping them so that by the time they join the fourth grade orchestra or band, they will be really equipped to be the leaders of their orchestra and their music program. So we are trying to nurture them early on so that by the time we hand them over to the school orchestra teacher and band teacher, that they already have a really good foundation, or maybe even be a very good player, so that it will enhance our school districts and their music programs. It's such an amazing feeling to go into our chime program in the afternoon and see the running around busyness of opening my instrument, because I am a violinist. There's already a sense of identity. I think that's an amazing thing to have at that age.
The reason I picked double bass was I liked everything about it. The texture, the weight, the sound movement from it, the sound waves it makes after you pluck the strings. When I look forward to doing stuff, I get really excited. And I don't want to wait. I just want the day right there.
It feels really fun. Well, not everyone in my family comes to see it, but my mom and a couple of my cousins come to see me play the violin.
Parental support is one of the cornerstones of any Systema program. It's the thing that's going to really bring the community together in the pride that those people feel in the music making that the children are creating.
The response from the parents, I think, is really important for us to capture. And I think it's best exemplified by how many of them do come every Friday afternoon when we have a casual concert, just for the kids to be in front of their parents or teachers or whoever would like to come to just kind of share what they learned this week. So it's work in progress, and for them to be able to perform and what it means to play for their family members, because sometimes it's a little bit awkward too, because they've never shared that part of who they are with them. So I'm sure that a slew of parents coming back every Friday to see what their child is learning is a testament to their support, and that family connection being stronger only benefits the child.
They actually told us about it. I mean, they came home and they were like, Dad, Mom, can we sign up for the chime program? It's where you learn music and you get to play a violin or whatever other instruments they have. And they were very excited about it, so they told us about it and we signed them up and they got in.
Which was exciting because I played the violin, so when I was in school as well, they started at their age. So it's pretty cool for me too, because I get to, see them do what I did when I was younger, so it's pretty awesome.
Oh, they grew a lot. Before when they started, they started plucking, they were using the bow, and just 1 minute there and there they're playing, and it's amazing how they have grown. They're able to play the bow. I watch them when they're transitioned from plucking and they're holding the bow and using their fingers plucking while the bow is in the hand. They've grown a lot.
When you make a child believe in themselves, they then have the confidence to take that elsewhere. If they achieve in this one thing, they know they're worth more than nothing. They then can think, well, if I can do this, I can also tackle this math question. I can think about this English question. And they can start to really believe that they can do it.
There's just so many layers of goodness in this training that I can't imagine why wouldn't we offer it to every child. I really feel like having beauty of music in one's life is a right.
Next, we meet Sherry Sparkle Williams, who continues to dance after 40 years on stage. Her star career has led to countless awards and accolades, but praise isn't what drives her.
You know, dance is powerful. It can be healing. It can just say the right thing at the right time when you need it. I feel really honored and humbled at the same time to be able to say that. I am an ambassador for dance because I truly believe in it, and it's never let me down.
Actually, Sherry Sparkle Williams has never let dance down. At age 52 and still dancing, she celebrates 40 years of dance with the Dayton Contemporary Dance Company. Sherry was awarded a 2014 Governor's Award for the Arts in Ohio in the Individual Artist category for excellence in her crafts. The depth of the talent in Ohio is deep, and the selection process for the Governor's Award is highly competitive.
Finding out that I was a recipient of this Governor's Award is annoying. I owe so much to so many because they do believe in what it is that I do. And that just makes doing what it is that I do, this dance thing, even more enjoyable. We work hard at Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, and we play hard too. It's a great environment to be in, and I'm always touched when I find that people not only enjoy what it is that we do, but appreciate it. And this Governor's Award is an ultimate appreciation of that.
Williams' dancing career began in 1973, just a few years after beginning ballet classes.
I was 9 years of age, and my best friend Thelma and I used to do everything together. Thelma's sister, Tammy, was a dancer with the Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, and Thelma started to take ballet classes. And she said, "Sure, you got to take classes too." So I started taking dance classes. We both started with ballet. But then within that first year, we had both enrolled in modern and jazz with Geraldine Blunden, who was the founder and director of the Dayton Contemporary Dance Company. That was at the age of 9, and a few years later, I stumbled into the company, and it's all kind of a stumbling path from there.
By age 12, Sherry was dancing with DC-DC, and as she grew older and the company grew more prominent and professional in its delivery, she decided to make dance a career after graduating from high school.
Discipline was instilled from day one. I've always been an athlete, so I started out with gymnastics, and my coach there was a stickler for discipline, and then also I started to run track. I was a sprinter, and my coach there was the same. And Geraldine, they're three of a kind. I guess excellence just imparts that. We trained in New York, spent our entire summers there training with notables and bringing choreographers in to create works for the company from all over, and that nurturing process was something that led me off into a career that was full of integrity and excellence that I try to carry through to this day.
Sherry became known as Sparkle after a dancer told her backstage that she sparkled while dancing. The name Sherry Sparkle Williams soon began appearing in DC-DC's domestic and international playbills.
I thought, oh, that's a sweet thing to hear her say. But when our next concert came around, they put Sherry Sparkle Williams in the concert playbill, and everybody laughed about it. Oh, that's cute, that's cute. But then it ended up getting transferred to our touring copy as well, and it just ended up sticking because people started to call me that. So it stayed. When I'm on stage, I don't really think so much about me. It's always a journey. And it's my intention during that journey to take people from what's thought of as spectating to participating, taking the journey with me.
In October of 2011, Sherry's journey turned dark. She suffered the first serious injury of her illustrious career. Her endurance and dedication was documented by Dayton filmmakers Julia Reichert and Stephen Bognar in an award-winning film titled Sparkle.
I suffered a hip subluxation, and I wasn't even thinking about would I be able to dance, but would I be able to walk, that kind of thing. Going through that kind of debilitating, downright scary time makes me really appreciate this longevity, My hip isn't 100% yet, but I can't complain, and I won't. Because I'm back doing what I enjoy doing, and I'm no longer afraid of being able to walk. Being able to do this dance thing for so long, it's truly a blessing, and I appreciate it every day. I've always known that I'm blessed to be able to continue to do something I so enjoy, I love, and be surrounded by people who are amazing and, all wonderful to work with.
Not one to be idle, Ms. Williams' interest in health and wellness has led her to also serve as DCDC's fitness trainer, a role accepted by her peers.
Dancers say they're inspired by me, or they truly enjoy being able to dance with me, that kind of thing. They seem to think I'm pretty okay, and I think I'm well respected. I like that. What should people know about me? That I'm driven, my integrity is next to none, I am disciplined, I'm passionate, and ambitious, but not to the point of running over anybody to get there. I like this 52. I like getting older. There you go.
From posters to pizza boxes, silkscreen artist Carlos Hernandez adds a bit of whimsy to everyday items. Take a look.
I've always been interested in art. I was always drawing as a kid, doodling, taking as many art classes as I could. I bought like a Kiss album one time, and I saw the album cover for Destroyer, and I thought, man, wow, that's really cool. That's a band? That's great. My mom told me somebody got paid for doing that. Right then and there, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an illustrator or an artist of some sort that did commercial work that could get paid for that. And you make that a career. We used to have all these punk bands that would come by, that would come through our college town in Lubbock, Texas. A friend of mine said, hey, this band is playing. They're gonna be out during the day at this guy's house, and we should go hang out there and all that kind of thing. They were screen printing shirts and screen printing posters, and I love the immediacy of that style, and I just loved everything that was going on with it, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. We used to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, got really introduced to a lot of the Day of the Dead things that were happening there. And I wanted to add some of that weirdness and playfulness into my artwork, but also those skeletons and the Day of the Dead things were made by folk artists, and they had a sort of aesthetic that I really loved. So it made me think a different way of not being so controlled. First, I'll either draw something or I'll do something on the computer. I might take a picture of my iPhone and use that. I like to scour old books and throw all of that into the project that I'm working on. And I'll take that and scan it in and produce film. I take the film and shoot that on a camera and burn it onto a screen, or burn the image onto the screen. And then the screen becomes a stencil. And the stencil is what I use to draw ink through and onto paper. Yeah, music's always been that springboard for me. I just contacted Live Nation. I kept asking, can I do a poster for you guys? Can I do a poster for you guys? Live Nation is one of the biggest promoters of music in the world, and I decided, why not start there? Through Live Nation, I've been able to do work for the venues that host and promote bands like The Kills, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Arcade Fire, Los Lobos, so many bands like that. Brock Wagner, he bought one of my pieces actually, and he was looking at it in his office and he said, I'd like to put one of these pieces on a beer bottle one day. And I didn't really think anything of it, but that one day came, he called me up and said, let's do this. Ever since then, I've done more retail work, and that's what I've gotten more into lately. So it's progressed from just printing posters to doing interior work for restaurants and businesses. When I think about those days when I was working out of my garage or working out of my kitchen to do screen prints and burning, images in the sun, yeah, I've come a long way to have this studio and to have all of the work that I have now. I'm grateful for that, but just goes to show that, hey kids, work hard, stay at it, it pays off.
Finally, we learned that it's all in the family. Meet the grandson of widely celebrated cartoonist, the late Johnny Hart, and learn how the family's carrying his legacy forward. Take a look.
When I was young, I passed the time drawing. Drawing was natural for me. It was something I thought everybody did. It was something I enjoyed. It was something I was kind of good at. I started to take it a little bit more seriously. My name is Mason Mastriani, and I'm a syndicated cartoonist. I was actually born and raised in Endicott, and I went to Shenango Forks High School. I love doing what's fun and knowing that it's, at the end of the day, it's also a paycheck, it's also my living. I love being able to do gestural stuff and write jokes and express myself in this way. Growing up with a legacy like BC. Growing up reading that, feeling like it's part of my family because it is part of my family. All the characters I've known as a child, all the characters are based on real people, my grandfather's friends. My grandfather was such a big part of my life. I love that I have that legacy. My grandfather was Johnny Hart. He was my role model. It's funny, he was a workaholic. He spent most of his time here at the studios. I don't know how to explain the relationship, but we just had this innate ability to understand each other. It's kind of like the same thing I have with my brother Mick. And I only shared that relationship with these two people in my life. We just kind of understand each other. We're a little different. We don't really see the world the same way as what would be considered the norm, I suppose. But working with my family is the greatest blessing and the greatest challenge that I've ever had. My brother and my mother, who I work with primarily, the way that we saw things was so completely different. So we butted heads on everything for about the first year that we worked here. And I mean, not in a bad way. I mean, we had a great time. We ended up kind of defining our roles. Maybe right around year 2, year 3. We've been here for 7 years now, working together. And now it's so smooth. And we have this dividing line between being a family, which we are when we're not in this building, and being co-workers, which we are in this building, and the respect and the ability to bounce ideas off one another is really powerful. It's incredible that it's my living. Such a blessing.
And that wraps it up for this edition of AHA. For more arts and culture, visit WMHT.org/AHA, where you'll find features about our creative world in our backyards and across the country. Until next time, I'm Katie G. Thanks for watching. Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Opalka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Malsardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That is why we take an active role in our community. M&T is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.
Hugh Johnson Advisors proudly supports the arts in our region. The Hugh Johnson Advisors team has been providing investment counsel and fiduciary advice to nonprofits and endowments for over 20 years. More information at hjadvisors.com.